NHL Re-Entry Draft Simulation number 1. This is my first simulation of my new mini-series where I redraft the entire NHL and simulate the seasons using those rosters. Of course, there will be some changes as the simulations progress. For the full NHL Re-Entry Draft, check out the link in the description or the card in the video. I also kept track of the rosters using an Excel sheet. You can find that document in the cards in future videos. The Re-Entry Draft did not include the Seattle Kraken, so it will occur in the first simulation. The Seattle Kraken make many trades. Seattle Kraken acquired Vince Dunn from the Nashville Predators for Travis Dermott and a 3rd round pick in 2021. Shane Gostisbehere and Dominic Cahoon are acquired from the Colorado Avalanche for Dennis Cholowski and Arturi Lehkonen. Seattle Kraken trade Chris Tierney, Dante Fabro, and a 1st round pick in 2023 to the San Jose Sharks for Jesperi Kotkaniemi, James Neal, and Liam Foudy. Mikael Granlund and Nick Ritchie are traded to the Boston Bruins for Barrett Hayton, Tyler Johnson, and a 2nd round pick in 2022. The Kraken also trade Alexander Texier and Anders Spork to the Buffalo Sabres for Ryan Donato, Rudolph Balkers, and a 2nd round pick in 2021. Alex Kerfoot and Rudolph Balkers are traded to the Montreal Canadiens for Jake Evans, a 2nd round pick in 2021 and a 4th round pick in 2022. Jeff Carter is traded to the Dallas Stars for Tanner Kero and a 2nd round pick in 2022. Jonas Korpisalo is traded to the Buffalo Sabres for a 3rd round pick in 2022. Seattle Kraken will also trade Riley Nash and Ryan Donato to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Anthony Angelo and a 4th round pick in 2021. John Merrill is traded to the Washington Capitals for a 4th round pick in 2022. And Ethan Bear is traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning for John Ruda and a 3rd round pick in 2021. This is the Seattle Kraken's post-expansion draft roster. First line, Barrett Hayton, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and Brock McGinn. Second line is Nick Paul, Nick Schmaltz, and Jacob Silfverberg. Third line is Arturi Lehkonen, Adam Lowry, and Tyler Johnson. Fourth line is Jason Dickinson, Jake Evans, and Anthony Angelo. First D pair is Vince Dunn and Chris Tanev. Second D pair is Vladislav Gavrikov and Tony DeAngelo. Third D pair is Shane Gostisbehere and Josh Brown. Goalies are Peter Mrazek and Casey DeSmith. Top prospects: Dominic Cahoon, Robert Haig, Tanner Kero, James Neal, and Jan Ruda. 2021 draft results. Buffalo Sabres draft Owen Power. Seattle Kraken draft Matthew Beniers. Anaheim Ducks draft Luke Hughes. New Jersey Devils draft Simon Edvinsson. Columbus Blue Jackets draft Brandt Clark. Detroit Red Wings draft Dylan Guenther. San Jose Sharks draft William Eklund. LA Kings draft Kent Johnson. Ottawa Senators draft Jesper Wallstedt. Vancouver Canucks draft Mason McTavish. Ottawa Senators draft Fabian Lysell. Calgary Flames draft Cole Sillinger. Philadelphia Flyers draft Chas Lucius. Dallas Stars draft Zachary Bolduc. New York Rangers draft Nikita Chibrikov. Montreal Canadiens draft Xavier Bourgault. St. Louis Blues draft Corson Kuhlmans. Nashville Predators draft Sebastian Cossa. New York Islanders draft Carson Lambos. Edmonton Oilers draft Daniil Chaika. Minnesota Wild draft Atu Ratti. Pittsburgh Penguins draft Zachary Leheroux. Winnipeg Jets draft Isaac Rosen. Toronto Maple Leafs draft Matthew Coronado. Florida Panthers draft Brendan Othman. Vegas Golden Knights draft Stanislav Svozil. Carolina Hurricanes draft Francesco Pinelli. Washington Capitals draft Sasha Pastujov. Boston Bruins draft Oscar Olason. Colorado Avalanche draft Simon Robertson. Tampa Bay Lightning draft Fedor Svechkov. And the Arizona Coyotes draft Zachary Dean. Round 2. Seattle Kraken draft Scott Morrow. Seattle Kraken draft Samu Tumala. Anaheim Ducks draft Connor Roulette. New Jersey Devils draft Maki Samoskevich. Columbus Blue Jackets draft Brett Harrison. Detroit Red Wings draft Anton Olsen. San Jose Sharks draft Logan Mailloux. LA Kings draft Arten Martino. Ottawa Senators draft Oliver Kapanen. Vancouver Canucks draft Cole Hawkins. Arizona Coyotes draft Ronan Schmidt. Chicago Blackhawks draft William Stromgren. Calgary Flames draft Logan Stankoven. Philadelphia Flyers draft Evan Naus. Dallas Stars draft Nolan Allen. New York Rangers draft Alexander Kizikov. Montreal Canadiens draft Sean Behrens. St. Louis Blues draft Samuel Hellenius. Nashville Predators draft Tyler Boucher. New York Islanders draft Tristan Brose. Edmonton Oilers draft Chase Stillman. Minnesota Wild draft Aiden Horeshchuk. Pittsburgh Penguins draft Dylan Duke. Winnipeg Jets draft Cameron Wynot. Toronto Maple Leafs draft Ryder Korczak. Florida Panthers draft Benjamin Gaudreau. Vegas Golden Knights draft Jack Pert. Carolina Hurricanes draft Matthew Neese. Washington Capitals draft Wyatt Johnson. Seattle Kraken draft Samu Samalainen. Colorado Avalanche draft Vincent Iaro. And the Tampa Bay Lightning draft Prokhor Poltakov. Before the season, a few trades are made. Anaheim Ducks trade Denis Gurianov, Isaac Ludestrom, and Hayden Fleury to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Gustav Nyquist, Teddy Bluger, and Kevin Stenlund. Buffalo Sabres trade Matt Zuccarello, Alexander Texier, and Joel Edmondson to the Nashville Predators for Ryan McDonough, Boone Jenner, and Yakov Trenin. Columbus Blue Jackets trade TJ Oshie, Max Domi, and a first-round pick in 2022 to the Arizona Coyotes for Brock Nelson and Tabo Kako. Calgary Flames trade Paul Stastny, Dominic Kubalik, and Brett Ritchie to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Jeff Skinner, Matthew Joseph, and a first-round pick in 2022. Chicago Blackhawks trade Colton Parayko and Vince Hinostroza to the Dallas Stars for Martin Cow, Connor Murphy, and a first-round pick in 2022. Detroit Red Wings trade Sergei Bobrovsky to the Florida Panthers for Elvis Merzlikins, Eetu Listerainen, and a first-round pick in 2022. LA Kings trade David Krejci, Craig Smith, and Jake DeBrusk to the Colorado Avalanche for Ryan Johansson, Jared McCann, and Valeri Nichushkin. Montreal Canadiens trade Mark Giordano and Andreas Athanasiou to the Vegas Golden Knights for Nicholas Hague, Matthias Janmark, Dominic Bach, and a first-round pick in 2022. New Jersey Devils trade Andrei Burakovsky and Jonas Donskoy, as well as Sean Walker and a first-round pick in 2022 to the Minnesota Wild for Chris Kreider, Jesse Puljujarvi, and Kalen Addison. New York Islanders trade Ricard Raquel, Brandon Sutter, and Christian Jost to the Carolina Hurricanes for Luke Cunnin, Tyson Jost, and Chris Russell. Ottawa Senators trade Anthony Mantha and Valeri Nichushkin to the Colorado Avalanche for Kasperi Kapanen, Mason Appleton, and a first-round pick in 2022. Ottawa Senators trade Justin Schultz, Alex Formenton, and David Rittich to the Buffalo Sabres for Brett Pesce and Mike Smith. Philadelphia Flyers trade Jason Zucker, Troy Terry, and Sam Steele to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Anthony Beauvillier and Kyle Palmieri. Philadelphia Flyers trade Rasmus Ristolainen and Lawson Krause to the Arizona Coyotes for Ilya Tolvanen, Antoine Roussel, Ilya Lyubushkin, and a second-round pick in 2022. Seattle Kraken acquire Ben Bishop from the Tampa Bay Lightning for a third-round pick in 2022. If Bishop plays more than 40 games, the third-round pick becomes a second-round pick. Seattle Kraken trade Peter Mrazek to the Chicago Blackhawks for Anton Khudobin and a third-round pick in 2022. If the Blackhawks make the playoffs, the third-round pick becomes a second-round pick. St. Louis Blues trade Jacob Voracek to the Edmonton Oilers for Hendrix Lapierre, Ryan Hartman, and a second-round pick in 2022. Tampa Bay Lightning trade Matt Duchene and Alex Barry-Boulet to the Chicago Blackhawks for Evgeny Dadonov, Richard Panik, Alex Nylander, and a first-round pick in 2022. Toronto Maple Leafs trade Sam Reinhart, David Kampf, and Troy Terry to the New York Rangers for Thomas Tatar, Diaz Sutter, and a second-round pick in 2022. Vancouver Canucks trade Charlie Coyle and Vladislav Nemesnikov to the New York Rangers for Dylan Strome and Joel Kiviranta. Winnipeg Jets trade Colin White, Oli Julevi, and Anthony Duclair to the Boston Bruins for Mikael Backlund, Connor Clifton, and Nick Ritchie. Washington Capitals trade Nick Foligno, Robbie Fabry, and Zach Bogosian to the Florida Panthers for Nikolai Waugh, Eric Cernak, and Carl Hagelin. Buffalo Sabres trade Jacob Bryson, Nikita Gusev, and Drake Caggiula to the LA Kings for Garnet Hathaway, Curtis McDermott, and Brandon Lemieux. Detroit Red Wings trade Gustav Lindstrom, Evgeny Svechnikov, and a third-round pick in 2022 to the Ottawa Senators for Radko Gudas. Pittsburgh Penguins trade Dan DeKeyser and Ryan Donato to the Calgary Flames for Ryan Murray and a third-round pick in 2022. Vegas Golden Knights trade Casey Cizikas, Yegor Sharangovich, and Yanni Kokkonen to the Buffalo Sabres for Yakov Trenin, Anders Borg, Cody Eakin, and a second-round pick in 2022. Minnesota Wild trade Andrei Burakovsky, Jordan Kyrou, and Jan Ruda to the St. Louis Blues for Andrew Kopp, Ryan Hartman, and Marco Scandella. Seattle Kraken also trade Dominic Cahoon and Jan Ruda to the St. Louis Blues for Kyle Clifford and a second-round pick in 2022. Vancouver Canucks acquire Luke Glendening and Sam Gagner from the Detroit Red Wings for Mark Jankowski and a sixth-round pick in 2022. This is how the 2021-22 season plays out. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Buffalo Sabres, followed by the Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Columbus Blue Jackets, followed by the New York Islanders and Carolina Hurricanes. The Boston Bruins hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Washington Capitals hold the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Ottawa Senators, New Jersey Devils, Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay Lightning, Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Rangers, Montreal Canadiens, and Detroit Red Wings. In first place in the Central Division are the Winnipeg Jets, followed by the Dallas Stars and Arizona Coyotes. In first place in the Pacific Division are the San Jose Sharks, followed by the Anaheim Ducks and Calgary Flames. The Vegas Golden Knights hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, while the Chicago Blackhawks hold the second and final wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Colorado Avalanche, Edmonton Oilers, St. Louis Blues, Nashville Predators, Seattle Kraken, LA Kings, Minnesota Wild, and Vancouver Canucks. The Winnipeg Jets win the Stanley Cup in 6 games over the Buffalo Sabres. In the next simulation, I will draft 2 rounds of the 2022 NHL Draft and make some trades as well.